got me running. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call, episode 329. It's the 8th of July, 11 a.m. here in Singapore, GMT +8. All right, so if it's your first time here, a big welcome. We do this currency call every Monday to Friday, so do join us every day. The schedule for the currencies we analyze is as follows. Monday, Aussie and Kiwi, Tuesday, Euro, Wednesday, Pound, Thursday, Yen and Gold, which is today, and Friday, the Canadian dollar and cryptocurrencies. So do join us every day if you want to get exposed to all the currency pairs that we analyze. So this currency call, you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. This currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. Here we will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Okay, so just this morning at 2 a.m. GMT +8, we had the FOMC meeting minutes released. So I'm going to get Kim Hong here, currency analyst at LCMS Traders, to help us break down the key points in that session. Kim Hong.
All right, thank you, Junwei. So the Federal Reserve, released their meeting minutes. Overall, I would say that not much on tapering was actually being shared in the minutes. But however, we still have some things to look forward to. Now let me show you these. So what you guys are looking at right now is the meeting minutes. So the first point, although no details on QE, when QE will start has been released, but we of course get the reiteration from participants, from the FOMC members. So over here it says that various participants mentioned that they expect the conditions for beginning to reduce the pace of asset purchases to be met somewhat earlier than anticipate during the previous meetings. So it's actually I would say a good sign. At least there are many of them. Not all, but various participants. All right. At least we are seeing some of them expecting QE reduction to happen earlier than expected. Now that's the first point. All right. Next, I'll move on to inflation. Let me search a few keywords. Substantial majority. Substantial majority. Is that the one? So so like I was mentioning, inflation is something that we want to pay attention to, specifically whether the Fed, the members of the Federal Reserve are actually still downplaying inflation as transitory, or they have actually did a change in tone. All right. So they actually did a slight change in tone, I would say. Over here it says that a substantial majority of participants judged that the risks to their inflation projections were tilted to the upside. Because of concern of disruption, supply disruption, and labor shortages. Now, several participants actually expressed concerns that longer-term inflation expectations might rise to inappropriate levels if elevated inflation readings persisted. So this is actually like I would take it as a slight change in tone. So previously they were actually saying, inflation is transitory, you'll come back to our 2% target, eventually not an issue. We are not so concerned about it. Right now, some of the participants are actually expressing concerns, begin to express concerns that, if actually inflation were to keep rising and our expectation of it is to keep rising as well, then it may not be nice, it may not be good. it may be a bit out of control actually, all right? Now, so if inflation may be out of control, okay, and if members are beginning to express concern, then we'll be looking at QE, right? QE tapering. QE tapering will help to ease inflation a bit as well, okay? So on QE tapering, okay, let me once again search up this. Okay, so if we're talking about QE tapering, right? Now, the US FOMC's quantitative easing, okay, is actually made up of two parts. Okay, so at the moment, they are actually doing a $120 billion purchase per month of QE, okay, which comprise of, let me shift this. Okay, which comprise of $80 billion of treasury securities, okay, and $40 billion of MBS. MBS meaning mortgage-backed securities, okay. So when they start QE tapering, they can actually taper both parts of the components at once, or they can choose to, do it one by one, right? So over here, okay, over here, several participants actually see that, the benefits of reducing the pace of MBS purchase, okay, mortgage-backed securities purchases more quickly than earlier than treasury, okay, purchases. Why is that the case? This is because of the valuation pressures in housing markets, okay? So there's been like some, valuation pressures making the, the valuation of houses to go up, okay? And which is why they are actually, the members of the FOMC actually feel that, if we were to reduce MBS purchase earlier than the treasury purchases, that may actually help, okay? So all these are actually signs of pointing towards, I would say, an earlier QE tapering. But at the moment, as of the June meeting, nothing much has been, not say nothing much, I would say not too in-depth of a discussions were made regarding QE tapering. So I would say the upcoming months, okay, probably leading up to the end of the year, I would say, I think it's 1, 2, 3. They probably have like three more meetings, okay, coming up. And leading up to the end of the year, we should be hearing, okay, my belief is that we should be hearing on a more, I would say, concrete plan on QE tapering, okay? So, yeah, so I would say, just pay attention to the upcoming releases on economic data, okay, and the monetary policy as well. And I will keep you guys updated. But as of now, I would say that if you guys, okay, for traders out there, all right, if you guys are still trading the US dollar right now, okay, personally, I feel that the whole bullish run on US dollar may actually start to tone down a bit, okay, because previously people are actually, the market is actually expecting to hear from the Fed in terms of the minutes, okay, from the QE tapering point of view. But it seems kind of like not much on when QE will start or by how much QE will be tapered has been going on in the conversation from the minutes, okay. So US dollar may kind of I would say tone down a little in terms of strength, okay. With that, let me see. So do you think we will see further USD strength or weakness? Yeah, like I mentioned, the strength of US dollar may actually tone down. As in terms of weakness, probably not that much, I would say, okay. But yeah, the strength of US dollar may tone down a bit, and you may see maybe a hovering of US dollar against the other currencies. Of course, when we trade currency pairs, it comes in, two currencies. If US dollar is not doing much right now, okay, it's staying neutral right now, we may want to pay attention to the other currency, okay, the counter currency, maybe like euro or pound and things like that. All right. Okay, any more questions from anyone other than Jintao Tai?
Hey, thanks so much, Kim Hong. Thanks so much. If there's a question, I will prompt it.
Yeah. Okay. If you guys have any questions, just drop it, type in the chat. Are they actually able to type anything on the chat? Because like I think they are blocked, right?
Yeah. Right now we block the chat due to previously we had some disturbance. But yeah, we will get some questions through email, and yeah, we got to chat due to security reasons. Yeah, we'll get some questions through email every now and then. And
okay.
Yeah, in the Traders Club too. So I will just post it up to you. And
okay, sure, no problem.
Right into the club or right into the FTA website.
Yeah, we can actually take the discussion to the FOP platform that we have, Traders Club.
Yep.
So you guys just post any question, and I'll just maybe like during the next currency call, I'll just answer them. Okay.
Yep.
With that, I'll hand it back to Junwei.
Hey, thanks so much, Kim Hong. Thanks for breaking down the key points in that FOMC meeting minutes. Okay, so yeah, let's head to the charts with the dollar index with Scott Andrews here from Forex Briefcase Australia. Scott.
All right, hi everyone, and like Jin mentioned as well, in regards to any questions for the people already in the LCMS Traders Club within EchoFin, that's a great way to share, any potential issues that you've got or chart ideas and things like that. So look at me, I've got the Aussie dollar up here. So let's get up the US dollar thanks to Sam Trade. But honestly, what Kim Hong was mentioning with the FOMC minutes, it leads me to just take the stance that it's going to take a little while, honestly, for things to really start lifting for points of concern for the Fed and also with what's being said. But something I would look to, and this is not an immediate thing, is the next economic projections that are coming out as well. That's going to really probably drive things, from now to then, in regards to price exploration. It really, and we talked about this yesterday with the 92.70 double top. What will be interesting for me is, now this is not super exciting, but waiting until the weekly candle closes, or at least the Friday candle, which is Saturday morning where we are in the world, GMT +8 time, and just to see how that candle closes. Now, what I'll mention now as well, it looks like I might have some questions as well, but I'll quickly share the economic calendar here. And just looking at what happened last night, again, it was pretty subdued news-wise. We had the job openings slightly less than expectation, or 9.38. So there was a little bit less there for job openings, although quite similar to what we saw for the previous month as well. So that was for May here. So that was for April. And look, in regards to the FOMC minutes that was broken down, FOMC member Bostic, there was no real surprises there or anything. We did see, obviously, the US dollar continue to move higher as well into the session. It did pull back a little this morning. What I'm waiting for today is at 8:30 in the evening, GMT +8 time, the initial jobless claims. Should be interesting to see if we can get a beat on that. 350K is expectation. 364 was the previous reading. So let's see what happens there. And then on Friday, we've got the Fed monetary policy report coming out at 11 o'clock in the evening. So those are my thoughts with how to play the US dollar in regards to timeframes. Waiting on, honestly, with the momentum we've got here, if you're really looking for a trade, an aggressive entry would be to wait until the US session opens tonight. And then if we hover around here I'd love to see the 4-hour candle close later this evening at around the 8 o'clock candle or so, and then see how that closes. If we're above 92.70, enter there and then 30 pips stop to see. But again, the issue is going to be 93. So the risk to reward ratio doesn't quite stack up. So I would say leave it for now, see how the daily candle closes to end the session off.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. Right, so today is Thursday. The currency in focus is yen and gold. And we have Jin Dao Tai here, founder of LCMS Traders, a multi-million-dollar trader, trading account with more than US $15 million on a daily basis. All right, Jin, I'll pass it to you for the yen and gold.
All right, thanks for that, Jinwei. I'm going to run things a little bit differently today, I've just requested for Scott and Kim Hong to unmute yourselves. So I'm going to run it a little bit differently today. instead of me just rambling on about where I think prices could go, what it could happen, let's look at the yen pairs and gold together. So I'll just go through some of my views, and then after that we'll get what Scott and Kim Hong thinks is likely to happen. Okay, so why I want to do it this way is because what you notice here, again, as we look at the forextradingasia.com economic calendar here, today we had some news about the FOMC meeting minutes, and as Kim Hong was sharing, we didn't see too much of a change in terms of their approach, but we did see some US dollar strength come around, and I like the view that we're probably going to see some strength, not as strong, but probably not that weakness coming around for the US dollar. Following on from that, today we do have some other news, but they don't seem like big price movers. The ECB monetary policy statement is probably going to come into play and consideration tonight. And then after that, tomorrow, we have all the pound news, which we spoke about yesterday already. And then after that, CAD, right? But CAD we'll talk about tomorrow. So you can see that there's not a lot of big news items that could happen or that could push prices too crazily. So what to do now looking at the charts? So this makes it a bit easier as we look into the charts. Let's start with the US yen first, right? And if Kim Hong, you want to work through this with me, your view about the FOMC meeting minutes, no big changes. We saw not a lot of move in terms of that news. We saw about a 30-something pip drop, and it looks like it's bouncing back at this point. What would be your view? Where do you think US yen will be heading for the next couple of days into next week, through to next week?
Okay, so for the US yen, I've just looked at the chart. Okay, it is currently actually bouncing off a 1-year high. All right. Now, if let's say the FOMC, okay, if the FOMC actually indicated that were to provide us with more details on when tapering will take place and maybe more specifics on the tapering itself, okay, then yes, we may be seeing a continuation in the dollar strength against the yen, but I think they actually disappointed the market slightly. So with that, I personally don't think that it's going to climb any higher. Now, for it to climb higher, you will need, a stronger catalyst, a strong reason, which as of now, like you mentioned, there's nothing major coming up in terms of the US dollar, okay? So personally, I feel that my downside for dollar yen right now is more of a bearish view.
So pretty much like what I've just drawn on the chart there, the downward move.
Yep.
Okay, so good points, good points. Some things I'm considering at this level is that we are seeing some little bit of a retracement. I think that we might actually see it bounce back up a little bit towards the 110.70 level, just as a bit of a profit taking, as a bit of a move, a retracement back up again to test that slight resistance. So I would fall in line with what Kim Hong has been sharing, or just shared, and say that we're still looking for that downside from the US yen. Selling opportunities, if it rejects that 110.70 or 110.80 level, you could be looking at a tight stop loss at about 25 pips and a good take profit level at about 80 pips towards the downside. With that in mind, also for those of you who are a bit more in tune to the chart patterns, what you also realize is that we have a bit of a, if I'm not wrong, I don't really use chart patterns that much, but a bit of a head and shoulder pattern. So if it does break below that point, that neckline point, you could be looking for a further move or a stronger move downwards towards 109.80, and possibly even if it breaks past that point, further lower. Okay, so here we're combining that economic view together with the some chart patterns and some technical analysis looking at further downside move. If it does go back up and test this 111.16 level, then it will even still be quite valid, because you could be looking at that proper head and shoulder instead of a skewed head and shoulder. You'll be looking at a proper one. And if it rejects this resistance level of 111.16, then you could even be looking at better downside potential on the US yen. So multiple trade opportunities at different price levels. I would say that first one will be at about 111.80. If it rejects 111.16, you could be looking to sell. And for those super risk adverse, for that break of that neckline, you could be looking at 110.40. Then you could be looking for a 50 pip move downwards. So I like this kind of approaches where we have a bit of a risk adverse view, a bit of a risk taking view, and also that longer term view when it rejects that resistance level to head to the downside. Sounds fair? You like that view, Kim Hong?
Yep, it kind of like tally with what I have in mind actually, like in terms of the direction.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so with Kim Hong's approval on that, we're going to move towards the next one, looking at the Euro Yen. And Scott, come on board. Looking at the Euro Yen, Scott, what do you think? Where do you think the Euro Yen is likely to be heading from this point?
Look, with this, we saw some, the Euro news missed a little bit, and I think it was on, downside is how I see it, but I want to add a little bit more context to the answer as well. I'm not going to take the easy way out. I think it must have been on Tuesday night. There was some German news that missed a little bit. It was the German ZEW economic sentiment, and that was quite a miss. So I see there are downward pressures, and what I've noticed is the yen has been pretty resilient against quite a few pairs as well. So I'll get the chart up, but obviously the key, guys, with these calls as well is make sure the levels are correct. So and I think that's the real value that you'll get here, is that if you focus on levels that are incorrect, then you're going to, unfortunately, from the get-go, your foundation of the trade idea is poor. So, I mean, the easy thing, guys, for this one is where we're currently trading at. You just want to see how price action reacts to that level up where it nearly is. So this could be, an immediate trade nearly. I mean, firstly, then, if you have that in mind, you just want to have a look at what news is coming up. And we do have at 7:30 tonight, GMT plus 8, the ECB monetary policy statement. So look, probably what will happen is what we usually see with, once it's out, the market takes a little bit of time to digest it as well. So in regards to an exact entry point, you've just got to let the price action present before getting in. But it makes sense that it would probably reject that level. And I saw out of the yen, for news wise, they did have a pretty nice beat on let me find it here. The household spending significantly improved as well, month on month, importantly as well. So I think it's just helping momentum here as well. But yeah, downside once it interacts with that level after the monetary policy news is released as well.
Okay. So what Scott is saying is that we'll probably see it reject this 130.51 level after the news tonight, the monetary policy statements coming from the ECB. If they might come out with some actions and actually cause the euro yen to drop further. All right. I would at this point come up with a contrarian view, is because if the ECB does come out and not say anything, they don't have a big change, or they might come out and say, hey, we look like we might actually be doing a little bit better. The Eurozone has recovered a little bit or is on the track to recovery, right? So when you look at the euro yen, pay a bit of attention to the euro dollar as well. When we last spoke about the euro dollar, we said it was likely to reject 1.1920 to come towards the support level. I think that this is a very, very strong level at 1.1781. We might actually see the euro dollar bounce. I feel that we might actually see the euro dollar bounce off this support. So I think that with the euro dollar view, my euro dollar view, that it might bounce, a short-term bounce off the support, I feel that we might actually have both that opportunity on the euro yen. If it rejects this 130.51 level, then we could see that further downside move. So I would say look for a selling opportunity below 130.35. Keep a very tight stop loss of about 30 pips. A good take profit level at about 60 to 70 pips. You're looking at a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the downside. But if we do see that strengthening in the euro dollar, I'm actually more tempted or more tended towards what happened 2 weeks ago on the euro yen. You can see that it reacted and rejected this 130.51 level towards the upside, coming very close towards the 132.97. So as much as this is the safer move towards the downside, let it reject, follow that trend towards the downside. What I would be looking forward to is if it bounces back up and breaks through that 130.51 level. You could be looking at 130.70, very tight stop loss at about 30 pips again, a good take profit level towards 90 pips. You're looking at a 1:3 risk reward ratio towards the upside, towards 131.71. So in this case, because we do have the ECB news tonight, I think that we have both the opportunity for either a upside or a downside trade. What do you think, Scott?
Look, I agree, and markets have been quite sensitive to even a neutral stance is, more good news than negative news, and it has gone through this level, but it only would take a slightly positive mention of improvements, and we could see a better quality trade given the risk to reward ratio as well. So that's why it's important to sort of be aware of the news that's coming out and have a bit of a finger on the pulse to, the markets feel about when these reports are mentioned and, what exactly to look out for as well. And that's why it's important to sort of absorb what's being said here as well and be a little patient, because sometimes, just let the market come to you a little bit with the setup instead of going, oh, that's got to be bad news or that's got to be good news. Sort of give it a little time to settle before jumping in.
Great stuff. Thanks for that, buddy. So lucky last one, we're looking at the pound yen. Again, for the pound yen, it looks very similar to what the euro yen is doing. It is right now sitting at that 152.26 level. It's sitting at that 152.26 level. At this point, again, as you look at the pound yen, I'll look at the pound dollar first to see what's going to happen. Pound dollar, like we talked about yesterday, sitting right at this 1.3778 level, 137.78 level, and it hasn't done that much despite all that FOMC news and all the other news that has been released. We haven't seen the pound dollar do too much. Also bearing in mind that we are going to see some pound news tomorrow. So at this point, I think that at this support level, we might see it happen again. Later this or over tomorrow, we're probably going to see the pound dollar bounce back up. Same thing as what it did last week, same thing as what it did 2 weeks ago, bouncing off this support level. If I drag this blue line right across, bouncing off this support level, we could actually see this as a relatively strong support level. So if it does bounce up from this point, then we could be looking at some relatively good opportunity on the pound yen at 152.40 right now. If we do see a stronger move back up, I would say above 152.50. If you're a little bit aggressive, above 152.50, you could be looking at a 40 pip stop loss for a good 80 pip take profit level. And then only if it breaks above 153.50, you could be looking at further upside. So I'll be looking first at that move and then possibly into next week, whether we could see it continue up again. So quite a good support level. I'll be a bit cautious to sell it down because you see the last time we sold, if you sold it down, it would have dropped very quickly and bounced straight back up again. So I'll be cautious to sell it down. Take that support level. Don't anticipate that support levels will break. Let it think that it's going to support, trade it back up towards the 153.50 level. So this will be one of the trades that I'll be looking for as a bounce back up into that range. I hope that all makes sense to you in terms of the US yen, the euro yen, and the pound yen. Now I'll look into the gold. I'll look into gold, and gold, my view, will still hold. I think that it's still going to be quite a consistent view, a longer term consistent view. This is something that this is on a daily chart. So this is on a daily chart. The last time I spoke about it, I was saying that it's possibly going to react off this 1773 level. React off this 1773 level, heading towards 1845. So far, it has been doing exactly as planned. This red line is not an indicator. This is what I've just drawn. You can call it a indicator, but it seems to be traveling along that red line. I think right now, in terms of gold, we might see a slight retracement before that resumption back up towards 1845. So my view for gold at this point will still be the same. Look for that buying opportunity on retracements. Look to buy, don't look to sell into the retracement. Look to buy into the value when you're looking into trading or investing in gold.
Thanks for that, Jin. Absolutely love the session today with all the experts sharing their analysis on the same charts. And I think Scott made a good point about the support resistance. The analysis wouldn't make sense if everybody's looking at different support resistance. So if you want to learn how to draw the support resistance in a more predictable manner, in a more consistent manner, I've just pasted a link in the chat. That's the link to the Udemy course where you get to learn the LCMS Traders 5-step technique, where you get to learn how to draw support resistance and using it more consistently to find trades. Yeah, so do click on the link and get the course. So yeah, and on that note, if you require some coaching, LCMS Traders do provide group coaching sessions on Monday and Wednesday. So I'm going to get Daniel here for a quick sharing about what they do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Daniel.
Yes, thanks, Junwei. So, really on Monday, what we do is a group coaching sessions where we interact with the members, look at what's happening for the week, to prepare members, special sessions for members to look for what do we prepare for the week, how do we trade, what's our bias going to be like. Now, on Wednesdays evenings, it is a live trading sessions where we trade together. We with the coaches will look together with the members who join and what we see in the market, between 8 to 9 p.m. and to trade together. And why we do so, because we have lots of comments talking about no time to trade, and 1 hour it cannot be done and we can't do so. So this shows that we can work it together and make trades together. Okay, so yesterday, what has happened, really very interesting. There was, everybody knew, today, the next day, 2 a.m. was an FOMC meeting minutes coming up. We think that some impact on news could happen. So we actually looked through the market and we decided that, perhaps we will avoid trading the US pairs because it doesn't really move too much, or could be some uncertainty happen much later on. So as we review all the currency pairs, we look at the non-US currency pairs, and we actually came out with 2 actionable trade ideas. Now, the first trade idea we had was the New Zealand yen. Okay, and the New Zealand yen, we look at trading below 77.85, right? So you can see at 77.85, around this green line here right now, we saw that actually really very nice. It went up into the quite a intermediate resistance level, and then coming back out. So we took the trade here, 77.85, and you can see it went all the way down really very nicely there for a trade idea. We could see it happening even this morning, coming down to the strong support level of 77.22. Then the other one was the pound yen. Okay, we were predicting that at the point in time last night that it will slightly shift up towards the resistance, bouncing off and comes back down. It did move a little, then it quickly went downwards. So we decided to look at the trade at selling at 152.95 at that night, and taking the trade, and you can see it went all the way down to the previous low. So really a very nice trade. Just 1 hour, we took 2 actionable trade ideas then last night. Okay, so you must be wondering, how do you join us together with all the group sessions on Monday and Wednesday's live trading session? This club, it is a club membership here in LCMS Traders Club, where you can access to the platform with worth thousands. So it's your chance to join at only $49 a month. It's at www.tradersclub.lcms.com.sg. It is right now. The link will be pasted up there. Okay, so this is without a doubt the least you must do if you want to achieve your best in trading. So come and join now, and I'll see you every time on Monday and Wednesdays. Okay, so get on board now. See you.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I just pasted the link for the Traders Club. You click in and subscribe to the Traders Club, for the Traders Club in that website. And yeah, I've also launched the poll. If you're wondering what is Forex Briefcase, what is Forex Briefcase Managed Account? It's basically a hands-free approach for everyone here to earn profits from the Forex market. So I'm just going to post the link here for you guys to read up more. So if you don't feel like trading anymore, or if you want to diversify your investment trading risk, to check out forexbriefcase.com and have professionals trade the Forex market for you and get a good ROI from the FX market. Yeah, so we have come to the end of the session today. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Canadian dollar and cryptocurrencies analysis. Thank you and goodbye.